Alright, so, yeah, I just finished watching, Butz's Mega Maker series, episode 1, where he showcased, a whole bunch of my stages. It was a lot of fun to watch through it. Yeah, and yeah, I just wanted to make a little video here because he did point out something, the whole little Yoku block counting, contraption. Yeah, so I was thinking I would show off the very first stage where I started to doing that. And I did introduce it in a stage called Icy Peril. This is like my third stage, ever created, like one of my earliest stages. So it's a little bit rough, around the edges. Yeah, you see here. I used the glass here, like to mimic ice in the tiles. Yeah. I could actually upload this. If you, I'm talking to Butz now, by the way. I could upload this to you, Butz, if you would like to do a playthrough of this stage, because I mean, it looks a little bit weird, but it does have some, like this one here. I'm not going to play it out for you, but like it has some puzzle elements where you have to basically survive. It's not so much about shooting enemies in these types, in my older stages. It's more about dodging and surviving, and slowly move on forward. And as you can see, this is like made back in 1.0.3 or something like that, like an old ass patch. And it looks very, it's not so much about killing stuff. It's more about solving little puzzles, like the same here. Like, in my early days, this is pretty much all I did. I just built stages where you had to avoid obstacles and red lasers, and such. But yeah, here, this is the very first room. Like, let's do this. Oops. This is the very first room where I came up with the Yoku block counter, because as you can see here, it goes down, it counts all the way, and then you have to, then it appears there. So let's see here. Now we need to go and activate the bomb and basically jump up to the ladder there, but I timed it poorly. But basically, when I first made this stage, it basically looked like this, and I thought it was a neat puzzle, but I did realize that it wasn't very fun, standing on top here and counting, to when it was going to appear. So that's when I started to experimenting around, with this whole little thing, with the counting blocks. And so, I looked around like what tiles fits, how can I use it? So like this is another, wait, how did I do it? I think this was a pretty common setup they had in the beginning. Like, I like to do, things like this with this tile and, mixing in with the Mega Man 4 tiles, and then, popping in the Yoku steer in the middle. Number 2, so 4, now 5, and then, you could even, nope. Here. Yeah, so something like that. Now this doesn't look right, but basically this is how it came to be. I thought I had a cool little puzzle here, but I did not like how the player or how it played out. So that's when I sat around and I realized, well, I can use more Yoku blocks, as a countdown of sorts, So that's that's how it came to be. It's an interesting piece of trivia, I guess you could say. But yeah, I was really proud of this back then, and I remember I submitted this stage for another YouTuber, Yo and Gabby Plays. Yo, he's not really playing that much Mega Man Maker anymore, but he was actually the very first guy that I submitted this level to, and it was a lot of fun watching him play it, and he could not complete it. After 40 minutes of struggling, he could not quite get to the boss because the boss room is it's not a cool boss room. Like, it's just unfairly hard. Like, seriously, I'm not going to show it off here if you want to play it, but it's it's just unfairly hard. And this E-tank here, look, yeah, I was proud of this. See, this is the thing. You're coming from up here, right? From the from the lift here. You go down. I can actually just show it. Here we are. You just jump on here, and you go down here, and the player sees the E-tank there, right? Okay, and you cannot quite go in here. All right, so you just sink down here, and then you proceed, and you're here, and there is the checkpoint. If you go to the right there, you're in a long path towards the boss, and there are no checkpoints behind this checkpoint here. So you have to make it from this point through all the cruelly placed electric traps and into the boss room with the same, you cannot lose any health through all of these electric traps and the various enemies that pops up and takes cheap hits on you. You have to make it all the way to the end on one life bar and no checkpoints past this one. And then you have to beat the cruel boss. And I mean, it's really silly. And yeah, it's a really hard map, and I believe the guy who played me level, he thought the stage was cool and all that, but the boss room, he did not he did not appreciate the boss room. And it's like, yeah. Oh yeah, and another guy on the Mega Man Maker forum, Jacobus, this level was actually the very first level that I submitted on the Mega Man Maker forums, Icy Peril here. But yeah, and the very first guy who wrote to me on the forums was Jacobus, and he pretty much said the same thing. Like, I believe, I don't remember exactly what he said, but something along the lines of, the stage is, has some very clever puzzles and all that, but the boss room is rather lackluster in comparison to the rest of the stage. And yeah, I definitely agree on what he said there. No, don't spoil it. But yeah, it has some fun puzzle elements to it, but it's definitely a very, very challenging stage. And yeah, so like you see the E-tank there, you go down here, you see the little E-tank here. So if you take these two challenges here, complete that, then you basically, when you do this, you're coming up here and you're going to the right, and there is the E-tank, and you get on the lift and you slide down, and here you are. Yeah, so, and you're back here. Yeah, so I was really proud of this stage back when I made it, but nowadays I see it as extremely flawed, extremely unfair, and it's not as polished as perhaps that my newer stages, are. But yeah, still, it's a fun little level, that I made way back when, for about half a year ago. But yeah, if you would like to try this out, you can just tell me, and I'll be happy to upload it for a short amount of time, and you can either download it or just play it while it's up, because I'm not going to let it remain uploaded, because it's just it's just a stain. In my opinion, this level is just a stain. It's it's a cool level for what it is, but it's way too difficult and it's way too unpolished. And I feel like for the majority who has played this, like, it's not really that fun of a level. It's more frustrating than fun, But it would be fun to see you play it, even if it's just there to make you rage a little bit. But it would be fun to see you play it. But yeah, that will be it for this one. I'm going to make another little video. Very soon. I do have another stage too that I would like to see you play, and that one is probably even harder than this one, called Pharaoh's Jungle. But that stage you would have to download an earlier patch in order to play. But more on that later. We can start with this one. Oh yeah, and see here, this puzzle has the counting here too. After I realized it fits so well up here, I I added it to I started adding it to more places as well. Yeah. Yep. Okay, well, let's not drag this out anymore. Please do tell me if you would like to play this, but it would be well, it would be fun for me to watch you play it, I should say. It definitely would be. Yeah, so, yeah. Okay, well, thank you for watching and bye.